He said, "You were never invited. It's a trip for real family." So I canceled everything, took back my money, and left them stranded at the airport watching their dream vacation burn. Hey Reddit. It all started with a sentence so casual, so carelessly delivered, that it didn't even register as real at first. I was standing there in the living room, bags mentally packed, dreams mentally lined up with sunsets, sand, and some hope of family bonding, when my dad, barely looking up from his phone, said it. "You were never invited anyway." No emotion, no apology, just a throwaway line that cut deeper than anything he'd ever said before. For a second, I thought I misheard him. I repeated the question, this time with a slight crack in my voice. "You canceled my trip?" But his eyes didn't even flicker. He just chuckled like it was nothing. Like telling your own son he wasn't welcome on a family vacation was no big deal. In that moment, my entire stomach twisted into a knot of disbelief and rage. This wasn't just a last-minute change or an innocent mistake. This had been pre-planned, carefully executed, and I had been too blind to see it coming. I had spent the last few months looking forward to that trip, a supposed family getaway that I had genuinely thought included me. I had contributed money towards the hotel, the rental car, and even some excursions because my dad had complained about the costs. I'd worked extra shifts, cut corners on my own expenses, and skipped outings with friends, all so I could help make this vacation possible. And there he was, telling me I wasn't even invited, like I was some stranger trying to tag along on someone else's dream. What made it worse was the smirk on his face, that smug, infuriating expression that screamed he felt justified, like he had done me a favor by being honest. Ever since he remarried Laura, I'd felt like an outsider in my own home. She never hid her discomfort around me. Her eyes always carried that subtle judgment, that underlying hostility. Her daughter Olivia, on the other hand, could do no wrong. She was the golden girl, everything revolved around her. Every holiday, every decision, every bit of attention was directed toward her. I was the background noise, and every time I'd try to speak up or express how I felt, I'd get labeled as overreacting, selfish, or dramatic. But this time, this cut deeper than anything before. They had taken my money. They had taken my hope. They let me believe that I was part of something, that maybe we were finally turning a corner, that maybe I was finally going to experience something that felt like family. And then, without a second thought, they threw me out like trash. Olivia really wanted this to be a special trip for just the three of us. My dad added, as if that justified it, as if excluding me was reasonable, as if I should smile and nod while they packed their bags with my contributions. I took a deep breath, struggling to keep the rage buried under a calm surface. "Fine," I said quietly. "Enjoy your trip." He barely even noticed, just waved me off like I was a child throwing a tantrum. But what he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I had far more control over their precious little vacation than they could imagine. Because since I had helped pay, many of the reservations were made using my name, my card, or my accounts. The hotel, the rental car, even a few tour bookings, all tied to me. So that night, I sat down at my laptop with a sense of calm I hadn't felt in a long time. The kind of calm that comes when you know you're about to take back your power. I logged into the hotel's website and canceled the entire reservation. Then I called the rental car company and reported that my booking was being used without my consent. They flagged it as fraud and removed the reservation. One by one, I went through each booking confirmation and shut it down. I even contacted the airline and asked for a refund on my portion of the tickets, since I was the one who booked them originally. By the time I was done, there was no trip left to take. Their dream vacation had just been shattered from the inside out, and they had no idea yet. I made sure everything was canceled the night before they were supposed to leave, knowing that by the time they showed up at the airport, they'd be met with chaos instead of comfort. And let me tell you, the next morning was absolute bliss. I woke up to a flood of missed calls, frantic texts, and voicemails ranging from confused to furious. My dad's messages came in first. "Did you cancel the hotel? The rental car company says there's no record of the booking." Then, as realization sank in, the messages grew more desperate. "What did you do? This isn't funny. Call me now. And finally, the fury hit. You ruined everything. We're stuck at the airport with no hotel, no car, nothing. You selfish brat. Fix this now. I didn't respond. I just sat back, sipped my coffee, and let them stew in the mess they created. A few hours later, there was a loud, angry knock on my apartment door. I knew it was him. When I opened the door, my dad was standing there, red-faced, breathing hard, his hands clenched into fists. What the hell did you do? He snapped. I met his rage with silence, then calmly replied, I canceled everything. Since I wasn't part of the trip, I figured I shouldn't have to pay for it either. His face twisted, and for a second, I thought he might actually lose it. You had no right. We're stranded because of you. I shrugged. Sounds like a personal problem. Maybe Olivia can still make it special. For just the three of you. Right here at home. I could see it in his eyes. That moment of realization that he'd pushed me too far. That he thought he could exclude me, use me, discard me, and still keep control. But that power was gone. I told him exactly how I felt. How I'd been treated like a ghost in my own family. How they took my money, my time, my effort, and then acted like I didn't exist. And now they were getting a taste of what it felt like to be shut out. He left in a fury, slamming the door behind him, but I didn't flinch. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was in control of my own life. But that wasn't even the best part, because what happened next took the entire revenge to a whole new level. The fallout was even more glorious than I had anticipated. The hotel was fully booked for weeks, the flights were too expensive to rebook, and the rental car company refused to reinstate anything after the fraud report. They had no backup plan, no refunds, no options, just 2 weeks of empty time, a house they didn't plan to be in, and a family vacation that would forever be remembered as a complete disaster. My phone kept buzzing for days. First came the guilt trips. My dad sent voice messages laced with faux concern. You really hurt this family. I hope you're happy. Olivia is devastated. This was supposed to be a special time for us. Oh, like the way it was supposed to be special for me before you stabbed me in the back? I didn't respond. Then Laura stepped in. She tried playing the motherly role, a persona she had never bothered with until now. I really thought we were making progress. I was starting to see you as part of the family. But this was just cruel. I laughed. Cruel? Cruel was taking my money and telling me I was never invited. Cruel was pretending I mattered until it was convenient not to. I left her message unread. Then came Olivia. Entitled as ever, she sent me a voice memo ranting about how I'd ruined everything, how she'd been looking forward to this for months, and how I'd taken away a memory she could never get back. I listened to it once, then deleted it. Maybe for the first time in her life, she'd have to learn that actions have consequences. That you can't always get your way by being daddy's princess. A few days later, my dad came back. This time he looked less angry and more defeated. There was desperation in his eyes that I had never seen before. Look, he said, running a hand through his hair. I get it. You're mad. But don't you think you took it a bit too far? I raised an eyebrow. You mean like how you took my money and then told me I wasn't even coming? He looked like he'd swallowed glass. It wasn't like that. We just thought you wouldn't want to go. We didn't think you'd enjoy it. You didn't even ask. I snapped. You just assumed. And instead of telling me the truth, you let me waste my time, my energy, my money. He looked down, silent for a moment. Then he said, fine, I messed up, but maybe we can plan another trip. Include you this time. And that's when I realized I was finally free. I didn't want their apologies, their half-baked promises, or their pity-inspired invitations. I was done chasing something that was never real. I smiled, calm and certain, and said, no thanks. I think I'll spend my money on something that actually makes me happy. His jaw dropped. He didn't know what to say. Maybe for the first time, he realized he had lost control. That I was no longer the quiet kid begging for a seat at their table. They never got their vacation back. I never got an apology. But I didn't need one. Because for the first time in my life, I put myself first, and it felt damn good. If you've ever been treated like an afterthought, let this be your reminder. You don't have to beg for a place you deserve. Stand up, walk away, and take back your power. Like, share, and hit subscribe for more stories where the underdog finally wins.